Before we get into your spread today, allow me to vaguely provide you with some background information as to what it means when a planet is retrograde. Generally speaking, when a planet is retrograde, it means that the planet is orbiting much slower than usual and, from our perspective, appears to be traveling backwards. The best example that can further explain this is, say for instance you are traveling on the freeway. Your car and the vehicle in the lane beside you are traveling at the exact same speed. Then you decide to slightly increase your speed. It will then appear to you as though the vehicle next to you was moving backwards. The vehicle is not actually moving backwards, it simply appears that it is from your current perspective. So, in essence, Pluto is basically orbiting at a much slower speed or pace than usual. So Pluto retrograde in general entails that we may have difficulty transforming our lives due to fear of letting go. You will probably have difficulty expressing your personal power and influence. A fear of being controlled or of taking control can stem from past life and or childhood experiences involving abuse of power or being overly controlled. The severity as to how this will affect you will be shown through aspects to your Pluto in your natal chart. Regardless if your natal Pluto is retrograde or not, you will experience some of Pluto's energy. Your particular experience may not be felt as strongly as others. But this particular Pluto retrograde in April of 2017 starts on April 20th, 19 degrees in Capricorn, and ends on September 28th, 16 degrees in Capricorn, which brings opportunities for progress, but a number of big obstacles will have to be overcome to get there. An internal investigation is needed to root out a barrier to progress and eliminate it. Jupiter, also retrograde, adds one more degree of difficulty. Some destructive energy is hindering a necessary Plutonic transformation. This particular involvement of Jupiter suggests that this problem relates to greed, excess, faith, or ideology. What makes this particular Pluto retrograde much different is that Pluto will be aspected by Jupiter, which is also currently retrograde, by what is known as a square. An astrological square differs from an opposition, inasmuch as an opposition entails that two planets are not in harmony with each other, while a square entails tension. Given Jupiter square Pluto makes you want to succeed, and succeed big time. Success, power, and influence are all possible, but without some care, there could be ruthless determination, greed, corruption, obsessive and compulsive behavior, excessive pride, and overestimating resources. These are some of the themes that this Pluto retrograde could manifest within social groups and or social situations. On a lighter note, Jupiter retrograde in itself can promise achieved growth and happiness in a particular area of life that is important to you now. Whatever your hopes for the future may be, this year's Jupiter retrograde is an opportunity to make great leaps and bounds toward living out your dreams. However, with Jupiter retrograde square Pluto retrograde, if your goals are unrealistic, deceitful, or greedy, then disappointment and loss will more than likely follow. Okay guys, with that background information, let's go and get started on your spread. Hey, what's up, Cancer? Let's go and search your spread for the Pluto retrograde. Pre-shuffled the cards, so let's go and get started. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide Cancer with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay the messages as they're meant to be. Spirit, release the first card for Cancer, which is Permeation, please. Okay, we have the Mother of Swords in reverse. Spirit, release the second card for Cancer for Proposal. The Death card. So Pisces, you ready for that chance? I'm sorry, Pisces, what's wrong with me? So Cancer, You ready for that transformation, huh? Sorry about that, guys. I'm just doing all the water signs right now. Release the third card for Cancer for propriety, please. Okay. D4 of Wands. So what are we celebrating, Cancer? Maybe this transformation? You never know. Spirit, release the fourth card for perception, please, for Cancer, for the Pluto Retrograde spread. Go. Okay. The Four of Cups. Spirit, release the fifth card for Purgation. Okay, slid out. The Chariot in reverse. Okay, Spirit, release the sixth card for Pursuance for Cancer. The Three of Swords. Spirit, release the seventh and last card for Cancer for Purpose. The Six of Cups in reverse. So push these down. Sorry guys, I'm having a little trouble setting these up so you see everything. Let's do it like that. All right, Cancer. So for your first position, right here, first card, for permeation, the message is attempting to reach your intuition. So I'm picking up on here. I want to say that we're coming out of some tough times, Cancer. And when we're in the moment or we have a lot going on, or we tend to have sometimes turmoil, it tends to throw us off in terms of our intuition, maybe our perception about certain things. And we sometimes miss the obvious things that are going on that can maybe help us better judge things, or maybe make better and more sound decisions. And I feel like sometimes you need to be more critical of things, maybe be a little bit more maybe sharp and perceptive about certain situations that you're placed or are given, Cancer. Remember to not be too critical. I'm picking up on more wanting to be, or wanting, they want you to be more perceptive. That's the big one I'm picking up on. Making sure to read between the lines. Okay, so for your second card for proposal, the areas in your life that you need to reflect on. All right, so this card in this position, I'm kind of picking up on whenever you make those transformations, Cancer, or you make those changes that better you, it's always important to go over or look over what led you to that point in your life. And let's remember to hold that a little bit close to our hearts and use it as sort of, I'm seeing like armor for your body. Let's make sure that we always wear it. Let's not let it completely consume us and thinking about the past, but let's remember it so that when situations arise that are similar to it or to that situation that you came out of, that the armor is there and it's on your body to protect you from that happening again. Let's remember everything in the past, or maybe how your disposition was or your attitude was towards the situation. And remember how you came out of it is because it was a switch or it was a change in perception. And remember how your perception or your disposition was during that time or that moment of uncertainty, or on the moment before the transformation. And let's not bring that into your new phase of life. I think that's about it for that card. Okay, and for propriety, he's got the Four of Wands. So the hidden truths that command your honesty. I don't know why I'm picking up on whenever we celebrate for certain things or we have a celebration, we need to always make sure that the celebration is given to the right person or to the circumstance. And let's not put on a big old huge show so that we're perceived in the eyes of others in a certain way. Or maybe let's not throw that party for that person because we feel like we owe them something. It's okay to vindicate yourself, from your wrongs, but we don't need to go to the edge of the earth to give it or to prove that to them. If they truly do forgive you, they don't need a cake and they don't need the huge party. I don't know why I'm picking up on that. It's kind of the opposite of what this card signifies, but it's just I'm picking up on that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting right now. Let's just always be sure that we do things for people because we truly do want to, not because we feel like we have to. Or I don't want to necessarily call it a motive behind it. But we don't need to give to other people in excess. That person truly does forgive you or wants you in their life, they'll make that possible for you. But we don't need to give them the world and more. You don't need to give them your firstborn child. Or let's not put ourselves in positions that it would maybe force us to actually have to do that. Or I'm picking up on, let's say if you have one of your best friends that you've known for years and years, and maybe they can't afford, or it's just not really working out, maybe to have a party for their kid or something to that effect. Let's not burden yourself because you feel like you need to do that for them, or you feel like you have to do that for them because you feel maybe indebted with them. in terms of maybe an emotional reason or support. Let's not stress ourselves over trying to give people too much. That's what I'm kind of picking up on with that card. Now for perception, the darker side, or the dark sides of your personality being highlighted, is the Four of Cups here. We always want to be grateful for the smaller things, Cancer, and not really worry about the huge things maybe at that specific time. It's good to have a goal and a trajectory, but let's not let the bigger picture prevent us, or let's not let it prevent us from appreciating the smaller things. Because when we don't appreciate the smaller things, how are we going to pave the way for the bigger things if we're so worried about everything else that's going on, or the bigger picture? Sometimes we lose sight of the goal, of what we need to do, and we just pay attention to the smaller things that are not there versus what is there. Yeah, I'm also picking up, let's learn to be kind of maybe happy for the small things that people do for us. And let's not put that facade on that lets them, or that the second party, think otherwise. Or maybe think, like, what I'm trying to say is think that, or have the other second party think that you really are appreciative of it if you're not. Now, I'm not saying to be dishonest, but I'm saying truly, genuinely take into consideration that maybe what if that's all that person can give. And if you really do love and respect them, you wouldn't need much from them. But the fact that they went out of their way and actually did that for you, make sure to always be appreciative of that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm picking up from that. So for your fifth card, you guys got the Chariot in reverse for the best method in ridding the negativity. Let's not jump to or come to situations that we think that maybe we have all the answers, or that one person's opinion is, veracious, that it's valid and has all the points, and then we just run with it. I'm getting, let's not make haste. Let's not festinate in certain instances. Let's not run with it without having all the facts first. Because the last thing that we want to do is think that the idea that we have, or the perspective or perception that we have, is the right one. Now, we need to be people, or individuals of conviction, yes, but we also have to remember, look at everything, look at the small details of what's going on, or that needs to be, looked at. I don't know, I'm here, or I'm also picking up like recapitulate or revisit or relook at contracts. And let's not maybe sign on the dotted line so quick. Yeah, we always want to pay attention to the red flags of any given situation or relationship. Make sure that you put your needs and wants first as well, because then that then will assist you in making a sound decision, or the decision that's best for you or that serves you in an appropriate manner. But overall, just slow down and look at what's going on. That's kind of what I'm kind of picking up on a little bit. So for your sixth card, you guys got, for pursuance, the Three of Swords here. The transition and adjustments ahead. I kind of feel, Cancer, I'm picking up on we have to make certain decisions that maybe aren't the most comfortable or the best or the most convenient. But I feel like it's going to pull you out of periods or circumstances that lead to heartbreak. We have to rid ourselves of people that don't really serve us, or people that don't give us back what we put in. And just pulling yourself out of situations that are going to prevent heartbreak or betrayal. I know it's kind of difficult to see betrayal sometimes, but I'm also picking up on, let's pay attention to how they treat other people. Now, we treat each other accordingly, yes. But let's just be a little bit observant and perceptive into how these people handle certain situations or with certain people. And let's be sure to then readjust our approach with them, or just walk away from the relationship or the situation. I'm picking up on, let's be mindful of a third party's agenda, and also to pay attention to the people that you associate with. Let's pay attention to their other groups of friends, because that may have some influence upon their decisions when it comes to, may have some, maybe, like when I'm saying that, I mean like influences in terms of how they may then come back to you with something, or how they'll approach maybe some conflict between you and that other person. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Cancer, for this card. Just try and discern between situations that will lead you to heartbreak. Now for your seventh card, pull this down. You guys got the Six of Cups in reverse, so the destination that awaits this retrograde. Let's stop thinking about the past, Cancer. Specifically the bad of the past. The bad was there. I'm not saying no one deserves the bad, but the bad was there because it made you who you are today, Cancer. It made you that strong person. So you cannot be entirely or completely upset at the past. Things have happened and transpired in the manner as to which it was meant to be. But sometimes that's a very hard pill to swallow, and that's not something like a Virgo like myself would probably say. Because when we're in situations, it's crazy, but let's remember the good. And I feel like this retrograde is going to bring a period of maybe ridding yourself from thinking about the past in terms of the negativity within the past, because I feel like that brings heartbreak too as well. It also prevents you from taking advantage of situations that serve you or that can serve you, but you never will know if you don't take that step, or that, taking that transformation. I'm also picking up here in the center, even though it kind of has nothing to really do with the spread in a sense. But I'm kind of picking up on the transformation will not happen unless you remember the things that have happened in the past that prevented you from moving forward. But let's not dwell on the past too much. Let's just remember it enough, so it doesn't happen again. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm picking up on, Cancer. Oh, I don't know, I'm picking up on this as well. Let's not think of the bad of the past too much as well. It's because how our children see us react to certain situations, or how our children see us, or the people that are, the little ones around us, they learn from us, especially on how to handle things, or how to handle the past, and how the past will influence you. I'm also picking up on, let's try and not think about the bad, because then your disposition changes. And then a child then, or little kids that are around you, see that within you. And then they may adopt some of those traits. And I think that's about it, Cancer. That's how Spirit's providing for me. No? Alright, Cancer, hope you enjoyed your spread for the Pluto retrograde.